I almost talked myself out of going on this backpacking trip. Not because I wasn't prepared, but because I was worried that maybe this wasn't the right time to go. This would be my first time really getting out in Montana's remote backcountry and backpacking in an area I'd never been to before. On top of that, a late season storm had just rolled through the area, and satellite imagery was showing that there was snow everywhere above 7,000 feet in this area. And it wasn't just me going on this trip. I'd be bringing one of my students, Megan, along, and together for the next 3 days and 2 nights, we'd be exploring this area together for the very first time. Whenever I lead backpacking trips for women inside my program, I always scout out the area first. Not because I expect everything on the group trip to go perfectly, but because I want to know as much as possible about the area before bringing a group there. With all of the research I'd been doing on this area, I kept coming to one conclusion, and that was the original higher and slightly shorter route I had planned for this trip looked like it was going to be too risky to hike this early in the season. So for the scouting trip, I decided to change up the route a bit by hiking into the area in a slightly different way. Over the years, I've learned that confidence doesn't come before you do the hard thing. It comes after you've done the hard thing. You plan, you prepare, you pack, and eventually you have to trust yourself enough to go. So we're on the trail and still not quite sure what the trail conditions are. We talked to some rangers. We talked to some people who hiked back here yesterday. We also talked to the camp host. I'm not sure what we're getting ourselves into. No one seems to know about the snow up at Sapphire Lake, but that'll be tomorrow's problem. Today, we're just trying to get to Upper Holland Lake. Fear has a funny way of making all of the unknowns feel really scary. But within the first mile of hiking this trail, things started to change. Hiking up this trail wasn't easy, but it also wasn't nearly as intimidating as I thought it would be. I was worried that the trail would be difficult to hike after the big storm. Instead, it was only muddy in a few parts. Most of the trail on the way up was already dry. I was worried that thick brush would swallow the trail. It was brushy in some parts, but nothing we couldn't manage. I imagined endless obstacles we'd have to navigate around. Instead, it was just a couple creek crossings here and there. The further we hiked up the trail, the more I could feel my confidence grow. Are we there yet?
Not yet.
After hiking over 6 miles and over 2,000 feet of elevation gain, we finally made it up to Upper Holland Lake. But there was still one question we needed to figure out, and that was, where were we going to be camping for the next 2 nights? And we have found camp. A half hour ago, we had no idea where we'd be camping for the next 2 nights. Now, we managed to stumble upon this beautiful shaded area with easy water access and tons of flat campsites nearby. We even found a fully enclosed backcountry privy, which meant we wouldn't have to dig any cat holes for this trip. What a luxury and pleasant surprise. Another thing I'd been worried about before coming on this trip ended up not being a problem at all. How does it feel to be at camp?
It feels great to unwind, unpack, and just chill out for a bit.
And what did you think of the hike today?
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
2,300 feet of gain.
Yeah, I feel like I earned my dinner.
Yeah, for real. And that camp chair.
Yes, and the camp chair.
I was so nervous about this backpacking trip. I'd never been here before, didn't know what to expect. I always tell myself and remind myself that I can't be confident unless I do the things that make me nervous and scared. If a trip makes me nervous, if I'm kind of scared about doing a trip, that's even more reason for me to go, because the only way I'm going to overcome that fear is by doing it. I would have missed this lake. I would have missed sharing this trip with Megan. I would have missed discovering this whole new place I'm already excited to come back to and explore more of. If you're feeling nervous about something, that's even more reason to do it. As I crawled in my tent that night, almost every fear I had before coming on this trip had disappeared. All except for one thing. Tomorrow, we'd find out if there would be snow waiting for us further up the trail. So the uphill begins. 1,000 feet, here we come. We left camp for this morning and our camp is somewhere down there. We are hiking up to Sapphire Lake today, which is gonna be over 7,000 feet. But the real question is there snow? Our goal is to get to Sapphire Lake, maybe have some lunch, and then come back and hopefully swim in Upper Holland Lake if it feels warm enough. So let's go check this out and see what's up there. Yesterday's hike up to Upper Holland Lake had proved almost every fear I had about hiking up here wrong. But this one last fear, this one was still waiting. Would we have to deal with snow? So there were trail crews up here yesterday. We could hear their chainsaws. We've already seen a few of the fresh cuts. So thank you, trail crews, for keeping the trail nice and clear for us hikers. Much appreciated. All right, so Sapphire Lake, snow-free. After spending weeks planning and worrying about this trip, the one last thing I had been worrying about wasn't there. No snow along the trail up to Sapphire Lake. Sapphire Lake was completely snow-free. This is just another reminder that oftentimes we make the things we are afraid of out to be so much bigger in our head than they are in real life. It wasn't that there wasn't any snow on the trail. It was realizing how much time I had wasted worrying about something that never even happened. And once those fears disappeared, I finally got to start noticing everything else around me. The warm weather, the gorgeous wilderness area, swimming in the lake, the resident deer wandering around our camp, our beautiful campsite, the amazing company, the backcountry privy, and even our neighbors who happen to be camping with 4 goats. Cheers! Okay, another beautiful morning. I would have never gotten over my fear and nervousness had I talked myself out of going. So I'm really glad that I decided to go anyways, and it ended up being a pretty perfect trip. How was the trip for you?
It was great. It was beautiful. The weather turned out to be amazing, and it was strenuous, but not too strenuous. And I slept really well. I was warm, had great company, and we saw some goats, which was really cool. And yeah, I just had a really great time.
Why? Looking back now, none of the things I was afraid of before this trip ended up happening. But something else did. I came home with more confidence than I left with. Not because this trip was perfect, but because I finally stopped waiting until I felt ready to go.
How was the lake?
Awesome.
Did you go past Upper Holland, or where'd you go?
We went Upper Holland and Sapphire. Hello.
That's the strange thing about confidence. It doesn't show up before you do something hard. It quietly follows you home after you've done the hard thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trails and keep on trucking.